Hello, everyone. Dr. Liz here. Today, we're going to talk about what hypnosis is like. I often get this question that people are just so curious, like, what's it like? That I thought I would do a little mini episode on it. First off, you don't have to wonder. If you're actually wondering, you don't have to. I have a free hypnosis on my website. You actually get is it 3 or 2? 2 or 3 when you sign up for the newsletter. And you can just see what it's like for yourself when you do that. So you go over to my website, drlizhypnosis.com, and it is pretty much on every page. If you can't find it, then email me and we'll get you signed up for it. It'll come straight to your inbox. You can download it. It's pretty easy. And then you can unsubscribe from the newsletter if that's what you want to do. I totally get it. Often I will subscribe to newsletters just to get the freebie and see what it is and whether it's helpful to me, and then immediately unsubscribe because, you don't want too many newsletters in your inbox. Or you may find that you enjoy my newsletter. I have gotten the feedback that it's very much who I am as a therapist, as an individual, even on the podcast. And so perhaps there's some helpful information in there for you. I try to make it good content, not just links. Sometimes you get a newsletter and it's all just links to other stuff or telling you about what they did versus something that could be actually helpful to you. And I always try to include something that could be directly helpful to you in that newsletter. That's my goal when I write them. So, what is hypnosis like? Most people describe it as very relaxing. It's similar to a guided meditation, if you've done one of those, or perhaps savasana at the end of yoga class, if you enjoy savasana, that is. Even if you don't enjoy it, listen, I always struggled with savasana. Even being a yoga teacher for 20 years, savasana to me sometimes felt like it went on forever. Like, when can I leave? When can this be over? The thoughts would start racing. It was often very difficult for me to keep my eyes closed. But I love hypnosis, so I'm trying to make the contrast here. But you have a head start if you love savasana, and then you're going to love hypnosis. Most times we're leading you through a relaxation at the beginning to slow down those brain waves so that we can put you in a brainwave state where change is a little bit easier, meaning the alpha state, sometimes the theta state of the brain waves, where the brain waves are more organized, those waves are larger and slower, and we know that information is absorbed in an easier way there. You can make change in an easier way. So that is a very relaxing state. It is like drifting off to sleep. So sometimes when you're drifting off to sleep, the grocery list does come in, you start thinking about something, and then you're like, oh, I'm drifting and floating here. And then perhaps you come back to that grocery list in hypnosis. In sleep, you would just fall asleep. Like, oh, I've fallen asleep. Hypnosis, when the voice is going, sometimes you're bringing your attention back to the voice, sometimes not. You can stay in that dreamy, floaty state until the very end, until you drift off to sleep, let's say if you're listening to it at night, or you're reoriented and grounded when you're listening to it during the day. So very floaty, relaxing. Most of the time, that's what it's like. You may feel some physical effects like tingling in your hands or a band across the forehead. Some people feel it more physically like that. Those are signs of relaxation. Sometimes I get the question of like, why don't I actually hear it all? It's because you're drifting and floating away, because you're relaxed. It's the rare person who could focus on every single word that I'm saying for like 20 minutes, let's say. Like, that's a rare person. I can't do that when I listen to a hypnosis, nor do I really want to. Like, I know the information and suggestions are getting into my subconscious mind, so I see it as an opportunity to relax and rest and drift and dream and float, let's say. Now, occasionally you will have someone who doesn't enjoy that feeling, or the anxiety is so high that they can't really get there, so we have to do some prep before they can do a full hypnosis session. But the freebie on my website is reduce anxiety. So that might be a good practice for someone who wants to know how hypnosis feels, or wants to do that before they make an appointment with me so that they do have a little practice. Occasionally, someone has more physical effects. And this has happened once or twice in over 10 years of doing hypnosis, where someone will feel a little nauseous afterwards. To me, that means you're processing emotions physically. And that happens from time to time, depends on the person. Sometimes someone autistic or highly sensitive person who has a lot of the sensory stuff going on, but not the full picture of autism, will process emotions more physically and feel things more physically that way. But even when that has happened in my practice, that effect has gone away after 2 or 3 hypnosis sessions. So it doesn't stay. Another thing that may happen is emotions and feelings come up. So you may cry or feel a release there and then wonder why. Like, I'm doing something that feels so good and I know it's good for my health and making the suggestions that I want to make for the changes in my life. Like, why am I crying during it? And to me, again, that's a physical release. It's emotional release that's going on, and that's good for you. Like, okay, let the tears flow and they'll eventually subside. And you may even go into a deeper hypnotic state afterwards. Like, perhaps you need that release at first, and then a deeper hypnotic state is easier to move into. Now, if we're doing hypnosis for deeper emotional healing, like healing deeper beliefs, healing trauma, then yeah, feelings are going to come up. That is often when someone will cry during hypnosis, is when we're doing that direct work. What I was referring to just 30 seconds ago was more like the type that you're listening to as a recording to make some changes in your life, and crying happens. When we're doing the type where we're directly going back to heal trauma or emotional healing, then yeah, feelings are going to come up. That's expected. And our whole task there, my task, is to help you heal those beliefs or heal the trauma. So we don't want you back in the trauma. We're always looking at it from afar, let's say, as a safety measure. But we do want to heal the feelings around it so that that trauma no longer triggers you in your daily life. That you feel distance from it, even in the conscious state. So that's really part of that healing, that we're developing new beliefs that are going to run in the background for you around who you are and who you want to be and how you want to show up in the world. So that's a different type. If we're talking about past life regression or beyond quantum healing, that's when we're actually asking questions about the future as well, not just the past. Then that feels like a trance state, drifty, dreamy, floaty, like I just said. You are often getting feelings or seeing pictures in response to your questions. Sometimes you're having conversations. I did a beyond quantum healing session where I went to a spiritual place in between lives and saw some of my guides there. And they actually were talking to me, giving me advice about what to do. That's how I experience it. Some people experience it as an inner knowing, as pictures or images that come to them, as a deep feeling in their body. So they're getting some clarity there. That's a different type of session than, let's say, weight loss, right? Where we're making the suggestion of the food chatter that goes on in between eating decrease, that it becomes calmer, that it becomes productive. So productive food chatter is your body telling you you need to eat because it's trying to keep you alive. Unproductive food chatter is that eating is the stuff that goes on when you're not hungry and you're looking for foods that aren't so supportive of your health. That's the unproductive food chatter. Look, both are important. Someone coming to me for weight loss, super important, wonderful. They're trying to improve their health and also their overall patterns in their mind around eating and health and how to make those supportive of their goals. Just as important as someone wanting answers about how they should move forward in their life or about a relationship they're having that perhaps it had a spiritual connection to them, or a past life regression where they're trying to find answers. Like, is there a connection between something that happened in a past life and what's happening today? All of those scenarios, all those different types of hypnosis start with a relaxation to move the brain and the mind into a more receptive state, into the alpha theta brainwave state, so that we can get some clarity around things. So that process of moving into this state is very relaxing and enjoyable for the vast majority of people. That's my little longer, but still brief episode answer. Hypnosis just feels good. That's how it feels. And if you want to know directly, you do not have to wonder. You can go download those free hypnosis that I offer and get a feeling, and then you'll never have to say, I don't know what hypnosis feels like. Does it feel different when I'm doing it with you than when you're listening to a recording? It does feel slightly different because you have a witness in the room, right? Like you're not completely alone. I'm there. I'm there with you. Even though it's virtual, I'm there with you. But that's also the reason I record the sessions, is so that then later you can go listen to it when you're completely 100% comfortable in your own home and able to drift off very easily and freely most of the time. Again, some anxiety, if you're going through something really difficult, often anxiety will block some of that process, particularly if it's a recording. In person, I don't find that as much because there's a supportive person, me, there with you, helping you through that. All right, that's the end of the episode. I hope you are healthy and safe and have a wonderful week. Peace.
I hope you truly enjoyed today's episode. Remember that you can get free hypnosis downloads over at my website, drlizhypnosis.com, DRLIZ hypnosis.com. I work all over the world doing hypnosis, so if you're interested in working with me, please schedule a free consultation over at my website, and we'll see what your goals are and if I can be of service to you in helping you reach them. Finally, if you liked today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast or tell a friend. That way, more and more people learn about the power of hypnosis. All right, everyone, have a wonderful week. Peace.
This podcast is not mental health treatment, nor should it replace mental health treatment. If you need therapy or hypnotherapy, please seek treatment from a trained professional.